Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Wednesday, the 6th of August 2025, the year BSV comes alive. Branch on Threads, expand your mind with treechat.ai or your post on chain. Right, let's see what we have got today. Check this out. So we're going to go over these posts here from BSV Association. There's one of three. Looking forward to that. We've got this notification here that Grok has come up with the great Bitcoin revelation, a hypothetical flip in 2026. I'm not sure if I'll be able to read all of that because the writing is really tiny, but we'll have a quick look at that. Got a thread here that CSW has got himself involved in, which looks quite juicy. There's another one here that is entitled The Cult of the Full Node. Degan saying just another day at the office in BSV. Loving that, very much so. Gives me strength. I've got a post here from a Truth Machine about a new wallet. It says cool new Bitcoin BSV wallet only for Android right now. Zixo looks cool. We'll have a look at that. Have a quick look at the figures, and then obviously we'll talk about yesterday's show that we did a little bit today, because I just want to touch on what CSW's strategies might be. Right, let's get into it.
Craig says he's Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, and transactions flying free. Just wait for the Terra node, you'll surely see.
Alrighty, here we go. Right, so let's check out this from the BSV Association. 1 in 3 demand is building, and so are we. It's an exciting time to be part of the BSV Association. I hope our partners are feeling it too. Head of Business Development, Vivek Chad, is committed to building relationships and getting businesses on chain. All right, let's see what he says here. Looking forward to hearing this.
Hi, my name is Vivek Chand. I'm Head of Business Development at the BSV Association. I think it would be a good win for us to see everyone have that adoption of the technology, but also show that passion and see for what BSV Association actually is standing for. So I would say one of the things that drove me to join BSV Association as well was the passion behind that technology and the passion of actually building something better for the future. So I would like to see those actually translated with real life use cases that resolve real problems, which is the basis of why everyone is in this kind of industry. Hi, my name is Vivek Chand. I'm Head of Business Development at the...
Excellent. Great to hear that. 2 of 3, the passion for technology and the drive for streamlining operations on a foundation of trust and transparency is the cornerstone of successful organizations. We all need to think on a scale beyond borders and barriers. 3 of 3, I'm excited to show the future partners the real-world use cases and to help them become the innovators that will inspire the next wave of entrepreneurs. Find out more at the BSV Association. All right, and let's see what CSW said here on this post. He said, the delicious irony about the real decentralization is that it's dreadfully boring once you've done it properly. You set the rules, and then, this is the scandalous bit, you leave them alone, fixed, immutable, as unresponsive to personal whims as a tax inspector on a Friday afternoon. It ceases to be about you the moment it's built, because the whole point is that no one, not even the person who wrote the blueprints, gets to lean over the table and move the goalposts. Yeah, brilliant. Now, this rather offends the modern state of leadership, which generally means the leader gets to tinker with things on a weekly basis. The BTC core set, for example, like to imagine themselves as benevolent curators of a living artwork, occasionally trimming, occasionally painting over bits, and occasionally nailing up a sign saying, you can't use the opcode. It's abuse, very municipal, very well intentioned, very centralized. By contrast, in a fixed rule system, I can't add a shiny new opcode because I've woken up feeling inventive. I can't remove an opcode because someone used it in a way that makes the right people frown. I can't even declare someone to be abused. because the rules themselves, not in my opinion of them, decide whether a transaction is valid. And that's the whole unglamorous, inconvenient beauty of it. True decentralization is a stage where the playwright takes his bow and leaves, knowing the actors will have to work with the script exactly as it's written. It's not about me or you or any other single hand of the tiller. It's about the fact that the tiller is bolted in place and the ship sailed on regardless of who's standing at the wheel. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think people don't really understand that. But data can only be commoditized one way. And that's basically what he's saying. He said, now take that tidy fixed rule idea and hold it up next to BTC Core. There, the rules are not a constitution set in stone, but more like the menu in a fashionable cafe, subject to the seasonal updates, personal tastes, and occasional chef's inspiration. They've changed the protocol so some things now work and others mysteriously don't. They've grafted on Lightning a whole separate contraption as if duct taping a windmill to a bicycle and will make it fly. And there's the rub. You've got a small cabal of core developers who can sit in a room or a chat channel and decide which parts of the protocol live or die, or get replaced by the latest bright idea. You've left decentralization behind. At that point, it's not a system bound by objective immutable rules. It's a club where the membership decides what's in fashion this season. It's not about whether one person is promoting something or not. Personalities are a distraction. The real test is simple. Who can change the rules? In a truly decentralized system, the answer is no one. In BTC Core, the answer is them. And once you've got a them with that kind of power, you don't have decentralization anymore. You've got a different kind of central bank, only with more grit, commits, and fewer marble columns. That's all it is. CSW absolutely nails these things. Absolutely nails these things. Right, let's see if we can have a bit, see if we can get through this. This was Grok saying the great Bitcoin revelation, a hypothetical flip in 2026. So let's crack on with this. In the volatile world of cryptocurrencies, where narratives drives markets as much as technologies, the year 2026 marked a seismic shift that few saw coming. Bitcoin BTC, the undisputed king of digital assets, with a market cap hovering around $2 trillion, had long been celebrated as the original creation of the enigmatic Satoshi Nakamoto. Its forked offspring, Bitcoin BSV, lingered in the shadow, dismissed by many as a fringe project, backed by controversial figure Craig Wright, who claimed to be Satoshi Nakamoto, but had been repeatedly debunked in courts. BSV's proponents argued it adhered to Satoshi Nakamoto's white paper vision of a scalable peer-to-peer electronic cash system, but a broader crypto community viewed it as a failed experiment, trading at a fraction of BTC's price. That all changed in March 2026, when the bombshell revelation upended the crypto ecosystem. It began with an anonymous leak on a dark web forum, quickly amplified across X, formerly Twitter, and Reddit. The leak contained a trove of encrypted files purportedly from Satoshi Nakamoto's personal archives, including early drafts of the Bitcoin white paper, private emails, and most crucially, a signed message from one of Satoshi's known wallet addresses. The message, verifiable on the blockchain, read, "The true Bitcoin scales without limits. BSV restores my vision." Satoshi, blockchain forensic experts, including teams from Chainalysis and independent authors, confirmed the signature's authenticity, tracing it back to wallets dormant since 2010. The files also include correspondence from 2009 to 2011, revealing that Satoshi had envisioned Bitcoin as a global transaction network capable of handling millions of payments per second, not the digital gold store of value that BTC had become under the influence of Blockstream and core developers who prioritize small blocks and high fees. One email explicitly criticized the Segwit upgrade and Lightning Network as band-aid that's derived from the protocol. Wright, who had faced years of ridicule and legal defeats, was vindicated in the documents. Satoshi's notes referenced CSW, Craig Stephen Wright, as key collaborator in early testing, and a coded reference matched Wright's public key. Wright, in a triumphant press conference, revealed he had been safeguarding these files under non-disclosure agreements, but released them now to end the charade. The crypto community erupted in chaos. Skeptics initially cried foul, accusing Wright of another forgery, but multiple third parties' vindications, from MIT cryptographers to the Electronic Frontier Foundation, silenced the doubters. Governments took notice. The US SEC and UK's FCA launched investigations into BTC's promoters for misleading investors about its origins. High-profile figures like Michael Saylor and Jack Dorsey, staunch BTC advocates, faced backlash. Saylor's MicroStrategy stock plummeted 40% as shareholders sued over false misrepresentations of BTC as the original Bitcoin. Amid the controversy, BTC's technical prowess came into sharp focus just weeks after the leak. The BSV Association announced that the full mainnet launch of Terranode, their next generation node software, in live demonstrations broadcast on YouTube and X. Terranode processed over 3 million transactions per second in a simulated global network, dwarfing BTC's meager 7 transactions per second, and even surpassing Visa's peak of 65,000 transactions per second. Built on a horizontally scalable architecture using Aerospike's NoSQL database, Terranode handled 100 billion transactions per day without congestion, with fees averaging under a tenth of a cent per transaction. Enterprise flocked to it. Amazon integrated BSV for micropayments and AWS services, citing its unbounded scalability. The World Bank piloted it for cross-border remittance in developing nations, and even China, wary of BTC's energy inefficiency, endorsed BSV in a compliant blockchain for digital yuan experiments. Market dynamics shifted overnight. BTC holders panicked, triggering a mass sell-off. Whales dumped billions, fearing regulatory crackdowns and loss of narrative dominance. BTC's price cratered from $100,000 to below $20,000 in a month, as exchanges like Binance and Coinbase delisted or flagged it as a Bitcoin called BTC to distinguish it from the real Bitcoin. Meanwhile, BSV surged from $50 to over $150,000, fueled by institutional inflows. Hedge funds like BlackRock pivoted, launching a BSV ETF that attracted $500 billion in assets under management. Miners defected en masse to BSV's chain, drawn by its gigabyte-sized blocks and profitable transaction fees from real-world use cases like tokenized assets, NFTs on chain, and IoT data streams. By mid-2026, the flip was complete. BSV's market cap eclipsed BTC's, reaching $3 trillion as adoption exploded. Governments in Africa and South Asia mandated BSV for the national digital currencies. Leveraging its utility for financial inclusion, BTC, rebranded as a legal asset, traded as a speculative relic, much like gold in a digital age. Wright, now hailed as Satoshi's heir, founded the Satoshi Foundation to promote ethical blockchain development through debate, though debate lingered about his role. In this new era, Bitcoin's promise was finally realized. not as a scarce commodity, but as a boundless utility network powered by a global economy. The flip wasn't just financial, it was a vindication of vision over hype, proving that in crypto, truth can indeed set the market free. Fantastic! That was a great article, that was really good. Thoroughly enjoyed that one. Quite surprised I was able to read it with the writing being so small, but check it out. Loving that. Well, let's have a look at this thread then. So this was going on about the statue that's been nicked. Somebody said here, you can steal our symbol, but you will never be able to steal our souls. Somebody else said that because we're all Satoshi, and Satoshi Jimenez said, except Craig, right, that's hilarious. I don't know who this guy is, but he's got, I don't know how many followers he's got, I don't know who he is. But anyway, CSW has given this fantastic response. He said, if you're all Satoshi, then none of you are. That's how identity works. We're all Spartacus might play well in the theatre, but Satoshi isn't a myth or a movement. He's a person. So when you chant except CS Tominaga as in CSW, all you're really saying is we're all not Satoshi except the one who actually might be. It's spot on. Yeah, that's exactly what they're saying. Well pointed out there by CSW. He's also said here, the cult of the full node is one of those modern fairy tales where everyone gets to be the hero without actually doing anything heroic. It's like buying a police scanner and declaring you're personally keeping the streets safe. There's a whole army of these self-anointed guardians of the network, blinking lights on their spare rooms, fans humming, convinced they're in the digital equivalent of the watch. In truth, they're more like the blokes who stand on the city walls after the gates have been opened, peering through a spyglass, announcing with great solemnity, "Yup, looks like the carts are coming through." And then they go inside for tea. They don't mind, they don't validate for anyone but themselves. They don't add much as a grain of sand to the machinery that actually builds and maintains the ledger. They're spectators who've mistaken the ticket stub for a badge. BTC Core loves them, of course, because it's an easy con. Tell people they're running the network and they'll defend whatever protocol changes you make, thinking they've got skin in the game. But you can't run a system by passively agreeing with people who actually have the power to include or exclude transactions. If the miner decides to freeze something, your precious full node just sits there, nodding along like a drunk in the back of the tavern. The raw truth, the bit no one in that little club wants to hear, is that their nodes are glorified RSS feeds. They consume, they don't produce. They observe, they don't decide. And yet they strut about as if they were holding the reins. Real power in a network isn't watching blocks go by. It's in building them. Everything else is theatre. And in this particular theatre, the audience has mistaken themselves for the cast. Brilliant from CSW. Absolutely brilliant. Loving that. Dagan here saying, just another day at the office. Check out this little meme that he's found there. Loving that. Loving that. Honestly, I'm in awe of what the guys in BSV must be up to, because they know what they're building. They're awake. They're awake. Yeah, they're not shitcoiners. They understand the significance of what they're doing, which is great. Right, let's go on to this then. Truth Machine said, cool new BSV wallet, only for Android right now. And this is what they says. So that's Zixo. I presume that's how you pronounce it. So they've said here, Zixo wallet, secure BSV-based peer-to-peer wallet with enhanced privacy. Zixo is a merchant-friendly solution featuring its Android app and the Zixo Connect code base with which includes client, merchant, and server components. Zixo offers simplified payment verification as an optional choice for merchants. Any user or business can manage their BSV-based assets and payments privately using our flexible and secure features wrapped in a user-friendly interface. Oh, fantastic! Why choose Zixo? Secure asset management, enhanced privacy, user-friendly interface, Zixo Connect. Get started with Zixo Wallet. Oh, fantastic! Fantastic! Oh, that's what we need. That's what we need. Finally, we might be getting there with the wallets. We need a wallet that expresses the value of your BSV in all the world's currencies, not just one. Not just like Swiss francs or US dollars. All of them, so we can all use them to send the correct value that we need to send. We need multiple wallets so we can distribute the value within the wallet itself. We need self-custody private keys, just so that we're not, nobody's going to collude and like steal the funds and all that. So we'll see what Zixo wallet, and it needs to be, it needs to have a simplified payment verification ready for Terranode. Fantastic. Right, let's have a look at the figures here just quickly before we touch on this. Transactions 72.6, block size 82.2, 43 megabyte block there, 37, 18, 21, 61, 65. There we go, 65 megabyte blocks, the biggest one there. 107,000 times cheaper to transact on Bitcoin than Grapecoin. Mining Bitcoin at a 38.1% comparable loss. Other miners just 5% on Grapecoin, 16% on Bcrash, 48% on, is that 48%? 40% on Fisher Price Cash. And again, CoinDart is not really reporting the mining figures on Bitcoin, but we know why. Right, let's go on to this last bit then. So I'm just bringing up this bit because somebody sent me a message saying CSW moves as fast as a glacier. Like literally slow and crawling forward, but literally absolutely unstoppable. Well, you have to understand that there's a lot going on in the market right now. Like previously, back in 2020, the market was still relatively fresh. It first sort of launched onto the global scene in 2017, and the $1.4 million, the 1.4 million BTC he had lined up would have just simply completely and utterly annihilated the market. But this is before Tether started printing billions of dollars. This is before the AXA and the central banks and they've got pension funds involved and everything like this. The whole space is unbelievably corrupt. Before the judge started ruling from the bench saying he'd forged documents, even though there were no allegations of forgery or fraud, even in the court case itself. It's absolutely nuts what's going on. So in order for Bitcoin to succeed, we need, first of all, transaction volume to bring in the block fee to surpass the block reward. We then need sort of like price action to bring the traders over, and then and miners bringing the hash rate over, and the miners probably dumping hand over fist their own BTC into BSV. But CSW had probably already worked out how many extra Bitcoin he was going to get by dumping the 1.4 million BTC back in 2020 compared to how much he's got now. So rather than having those extra BSV that he would have got by selling the 1.4 million BTC back in 2020, he's been mining BSV all the way now up until 2025. So it's already in the bag. And so now he's sort of sold the 80,000 BTC, which just simply represents like $9 billion. But the fact is, he's already got the BSV in his pockets. He's been like mining it all these years. And then we've got the $9.6 billion they liquidated of the 80,000 BTC. And that's probably a good way to do it, because if that does start coming into BSV and then the cabal starts pumping billions into a BTC to try and keep the trading margins as they are, or improve or increase them, then he's still got literally millions of BTC left in the bag to counter that, where if the price price of BTC skyrockets, to like $1 million, because it's the block fee really. Somehow Core and Tether are going to have to literally pump BTC to the absolute moon. When Terranode comes on and the block fee goes through the roof. So chances are the only way they're going to win this is by literally pumping like billions of Tether, like literally on a daily basis into the market to literally try and pump BTC to like $200,000, $300,000, like $1 million per coin, whatever. And CSW will just be like, yep, still got all that BTC in the bag, and you're not going to make the trading returns from BTC that you would make in genuine Bitcoin when it's just like what, $25? $25. All it's got to do is go to $50, and you've literally got 100% return on your money. Whereas BTC would have to go to $200,000. $200,000, but we saw how the cabal pumped the price of BTC from $60,000 to $120,000 after he put that initial claim in for $911 billion, almost like $1 trillion market cap. They were just, just in case he does do that, let's just double the market price right now. So they were showing their strength. So CSW has still got all that firepower in the bag, but there's $9.6 billion potentially going into genuine Bitcoin that's only got a 24-hour market, 24-hour trade volume of like 34 million. 34 million. Like, this is literally going to be absolutely epic. Absolutely epic. And there is no prizes to second place in this battle. This is literally the battle for the future of the world. We are up against the most evil conspiracy you could ever possibly imagine. And this, we are in this. So, and also CSW's got to move slowly, because what you don't want to do is reveal your hand before your opponent reveals theirs. They've revealed theirs. They've revealed that the courts are corrupt. They also revealed early on the length that they were willing to go to when CSW mentioned the MetaNet in 2018, and they ran with that and created the entire metaverse, which was an absolute load of bullshit from Facebook. And they even got Mark Zuckerberg to change the name of his company from Facebook to Meta. Literally, they went to all of that just because he mentioned MetaNet. The length that literally this lot are willing to go to is absolutely off the charts. And that is what we're dealing with. So CSW needs all that firepower in the bag in order to bring the market over to the genuine Bitcoin. It's going to be epic, absolutely epic. And on that night, I do need to go to bed. That's been a 28-minute show. Great stuff. We'll leave it there. Right, hope you enjoyed it. So as ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
The king still has one more move.